Hello and Toshtale, everyone. My name is Amalia, and I am here to teach you the Tibetan alphabet from scratch. I mean, if you are starting from absolutely zero, this is for you. I'm going to start with a brief introduction about what this course is going to be. If you want to skip that, there are timestamps below. But basically, we are going to go through the Tibetan alphabet using a lot of traditional Tibetan materials. For example, I have these books, which are actually from public schools in Eastern Tibet. I've got these awesome children's books, and we're also going to eventually use resources like traditional Tibetan grammar and spelling poems. So these are all Tibetan traditional resources that I am going to help present to you in English so that you, as a non native learner, can hopefully learn the Tibetan alphabet with native level proficiency. Now, what do I mean by that? The Tibetan alphabet has 30 letters and 4 vowels. You could memorize that if you want in a day with some flashcards. But there's a difference between knowing the letters and being able to read. Think about English, for example. We all learn the ABCs in kindergarten, but how long is it before we can read and spell words like throughout or psychiatrist? It's going to take us a long time. The same is true for Tibetan language. In fact, in this book, which is used in first year Tibetan, there's even a little poem at around the two-third mark right here. And this poem reads, Dokpe tipa rikpasang lobdur shune dasumkor yike lotupti yangshi shabdo tapne luyanglen, which translates to the nomadic children are very smart. They've been in school for 3 months. They can read and write, and so they happily sing and dance. And this is the two-thirds point through the book. So in a traditional Tibetan setting, it takes 4 months to be really confident in being able to read. So we're going to go through it really slowly in a series of a whole bunch of videos using a whole bunch of resources so that you can have the same level of proficiency in the Tibetan alphabet, hopefully, as a native learner. So, with that out of the way, let's dive right in and get started. Where in today's video, we are going to learn the 30 letters of the Tibetan alphabet. We're not going to learn the vowels, we're not going to learn any combinations, just the 30 letters of the Tibetan alphabet. Because, like it said in this book, where it shows that it really does take a long time, it's very important to have a strong foundation of your first level before you move on to your second level before your third, etc. What we have here is a chart of the Tibetan alphabet because the way the Tibetan alphabet is traditionally written is in a series of 4 columns. And this is not unique to this chart. If we look in this book, which is a first year reader, goes all the way from alphabet through essays. If we go to the alphabet page here, it is always written in these columns and rows. Here they double up because they wanted it to fit on the page better, but the same thing is always done, regardless, in fact, of how you write it. So we're going to learn in the same way because these rows actually matter a lot to us. The first 5 rows here are all going to behave in a similar pattern. Then these 2 rows here have their own little pattern. And then finally, we have these last 2 letters. And it is actually important to look at them in this way, okay? And so to get started, we're going to talk about this in a bit of a silly way, but it does help a lot. And just know that this exists. Don't worry about it too much. We're going to start from here. Also, something that might be really useful to you right now is to grab a tissue. So here we go. I've got my tissue. Hopefully you have yours. This is going to make your life a lot easier. All right, are you ready to start? Let's go. Now, one last note before we start is that this is going to be based on the pronunciations in the Central Tibetan dialect. Obviously, different dialects have different pronunciations, but the Central Tibetan dialect is currently the most popular to be learned by foreigners. So that's what we're going to go with. This is the dialect spoken in Lhasa. It is the dialect generally spoken by communities outside of Tibet. So that's what we're going to work with. But we are still going to do this the traditional way. We are going to go row by row and looking at the identifying patterns in each column. All right. Now, Although this is a traditional method, I like doing it with a somewhat silly mnemonic that really helps to remember it because it's goofy and we remember things that are goofy. And that's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So our characters in Goldilocks and the Three Bears, we have Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Baby Bear, and Goldilocks. Now, if we think about their beds, Mama Bear's bed is too soft. Papa Bear's bed is too hard. Baby Bear's bed is just right. And Goldilocks, well, we're not really sure why she's even here. Now, what does this have to do with the alphabet? We'll start with the first row, and then you'll see the pattern, and hopefully you'll understand how this mnemonic can help you memorize it. The first letter in the first row, which is also our first column, okay, is ga, ga. All right. And this is an extremely soft sound. It has no aspiration at all. Ga, ga. You see how the tissue doesn't flutter at all when I say it? Compared to English, the most similar sound is the C in the word scar, S-C-A-R, okay? Scar, scar. Because if we say C in car, car, car. Do you see how the paper flutters? But when I say scar, we get no movement whatsoever. So this ga, 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 ga is an extraordinarily soft, completely non-aspirated K sound, almost a G sound. Okay? And it's also high tone. How can we remember it's high tone? Mama Bear's an adult. She is tall. The tones don't matter in all dialects of Tibetan, but we're going to roll with that for now. So it's ga, ga, now this is too soft. Papa Bear's bed is too hard. So that is ka, ka. It's really hard. You really aspirate it very strongly. See how far the tissue flutters. Ka, ka. You should be clenching your stomach. And this is also high tone because Papa Bear is also tall. Okay? So if too soft is ka and too hard is ka, can you guess what just right is going to be? Take a moment. What do you think it's going to be? If you guessed ka, you are correct. It is mid aspiration, ka. So we get a little flutter, not no flutter, not big flutter. And because it's Baby Bear who's short, it's low tone, ka, ka. Okay? So we have super soft, ka, super hard, ka, just right, ka. This is the one that's most close to an English K. And then Goldilocks, why are you even here? She is nga, nga. Now, nga is a very difficult sound for a lot of foreigners because we don't have words starting with nga. Okay? We have it in the middle of a lot of words like singing, but we don't have it at the beginning. And a lot of people say na or nya, but nga is its own sound. How do you say this sound if you're really struggling with it? Again, take the word singing. And instead of saying singing, say singing, singing. Really put an emphasis on that ng. And if you're still struggling, put a little bit of an in front of it, like unga, 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 U-N-G-A, unga. And over time, you'll get used to it. Okay, so what's our pattern here? Mama and Papa are tall, so they are high tone. Baby Bear and Goldilocks are children, so they are low tone. High is tall, low is short. And it goes too soft, too hard, just right, not even a bear. I also want to note some items of punctuation we have here. You'll notice that all of these letters have a little dot after them. This is called a tick. A tick separates syllables in Tibetan. In Tibetan, words are not separated by spaces. Syllables are separated by tick. And then finally here we see this long line. This is called a she. A she is like a comma or a period. Now, normally the she just goes at the end. We don't have the tick and the she. The only reason we have that after the nga and only after the nga is because otherwise, if the nga is too close to the she, it looks kind of like another letter. You don't really need to worry about that right now, but you know the reason. So there you go. Tick goes between syllables. She is like a period. So we've reached the end of our line. Now this pattern is going to continue. Here we have our next row, which is going to follow the identical pattern. So that first letter, Mama Bear's letter, is going to be high tone and too soft, and it's ja, ja. It's like the softest CH you've ever heard, closer to a J. Ja, ja. Sorry, that's actually some wind from outside. Ja, ja. No flutter. Ja, ja. See that? Now, if ja is too soft and high tone, what do we think is going to be too hard and high tone? Give it a guess. If you guessed cha, cha, you're completely correct. Cha, high tone and way too hard. So what is going to be our low tone and just right, baby bear? Cha, cha. Now, fun fact, cha is already a word. Cha means tea. And if we actually go back to the previous screen, nga is also a word. Nga means I, as in me, myself, or I. We're not going to go through all the words right now because that's really more important for later, but it's just kind of fun to know. So our too soft and high tone mama bear is ja. Our too hard, but still very tall, papa bear is cha. Our just right, low tone, cha. And then Goldilocks is nya, nya, like nya nya when you were a kid, teasing people. And this is why it's so important to say nga properly and not nya, because nya means fish and nga means I. And those are very different things in a sentence, as I'm sure you can imagine. So hopefully we're starting to see a pattern. This first column is going to be Mama Bear. She is high tone, and she's too soft. Our second column is going to be Papa Bear, also high, but too hard. Our third column is going to be Baby Bear, low, just right. And our fourth column is going to be Goldilocks, low and just not really sure why she's there. So let's go on to our next row. All right, this one, the first letter is ta, 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 ta. It is a very soft T, almost a D. And this is like the T in star versus the T in tar. Again, watch. Star, tar, star, tar. Do you see that? It's this completely non-aspirated T. Da, da. So if that's Mama Bear, and we know Papa Bear is going to be high tone and too hard, can you make a wild guess what Papa Bear is going to be? Ha, ha. Yeah, ha. Really harsh, blow out a lot of air. So that's Mama Bear, that's Papa Bear. I bet you can guess Baby Bear at this point, right? You can guess Baby Bear. Baby Bear is going to be ta, ta, the one that's most similar to an English T, right? And then Goldilocks is na, na, N-A, na. You're probably also noticing all of these letters have ah attached to them. And that's right. All of them have the inherent vowel ah. And this is going to be true for all 30 letters of the alphabet. So this row, ta, 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 na. Easy, right? Now, I want to take a moment here to remind you, first of all, if you are liking this, please like, please subscribe. And also, if you want to get additional resources such as story times with these books, extra mnemonics, learning alphabet, songs, handwriting, a lot of extra goodies, those are on my Patreon, which is listed below. And of course, if you find this useful, please do consider supporting me via the Patreon or leaving me a tip. My coffee is listed below as well. You can learn everything in the alphabet here, but if you want those extra mnemonics, alphabet songs, story times, uh, calligraphy classes, how to write letters, all of that is going to be on the Patreon. So the basics are here, the extra goodies are there. I really hope you'll give it a look because I do put a lot of hard work into this, and having your support allows me to do that. So please do like, subscribe, take a look at the Patreon, and possibly leave a tip. Thank you so much. It doesn't get much harder than this. So our next row, Mama Bear is going to be ba, 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 no flutter. Again, if we want to use the examples we've been using, it's like the P in spar versus the P in par. Spar, par, spar, par. See the difference there? This is very soft. It's almost a B sound. So if the ba is Mama Bear, who's high and too soft, what's Papa Bear going to be? I bet you can guess. Pa, pa. Yeah, pa. Really hard. And then what's Baby Bear? Pa, pa. This is the one that's closest to an English P. And then Goldilocks? Ma, ma. Easy peasy. Pa, 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 ma. This is the last row that follows this pattern before we get into the exception rows. And you'll notice that this row looks identical to the second row, the ja row, except it's got these little flags. This is because Tibetan script was derived from Sanskrit and the Devanagari alphabet, and it had to be adapted to sounds that did not exist. So sometimes what they did was they would take a letter that represented a sound that was similar and add a little doohickey to be like, okay, it's like that sound, but not quite. So without the flag, it's ja. With the flag, it's za, za, like a TSA, very, very soft. Za, za. So if Mama Bear is za, what's Papa Bear gonna be? Ha, ha. Pretty self-explanatory. And therefore, Baby Bear is going to be ta, ta. So ta, ta, ta. And Goldilocks is wah, wah. Wa is a very rare letter, by the way, and it means fox, which just a fun fact. So now we've gone through the 5 rows that all follow this very similar column pattern of Mama Bear, high tone because she's tall, she's a grown up, and too soft. Papa Bear, also high tone because he's a grown up, but too hard. Baby Bear, low tone because he's a baby, small, and just right. And Goldilocks, also low tone, she's a child, but doesn't really fit the pattern. Now let's get into the last 10 letters. The next row is an entirely low tone row. And what we see here are letters that just didn't quite fit in. Again, because the Tibetan writing was based on Sanskrit, but Tibetan is not an Indic language. So they had to find ways to work around to get all the sounds in there when Sanskrit had a different set of sounds than Tibetan had. So here's our low tone row. This first sound is sha, sha, sha. It's an SH sound, but what makes it different from an English SH is your tongue is curled up, touching the roof of your mouth about a centimeter back, like that. Sha, sha, sha. The second letter, right here, is sa, 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 like an SA. And this means to eat, and I like to think it looks like a fork sideways. This letter here, ooh, this might be the hardest letter for people to pronounce in the alphabet. This is ah, ah, ah. Now, this is hard because you think, oh, it's just ah, but it's not. When we say ah, put your fingers on your throat. And when you say ah, you're going to feel this click start. Ah. Suddenly there's no movement and suddenly there is movement. But if you say ha, we feel the air going, but it's a smooth start. If we say wah, it's a super smooth start. Ah is a smooth start ah. It is very difficult for foreigners to pronounce. I find the easiest way to get it is to drop my jaw. Ah, ah, ah. But if you can't, saying a bit of a wah is okay. Wah, wah, okay? If it takes you a while to get it, that is okay. And this final letter here is ya, ya, ya. Identical to an English Y, so nice and easy. This is our low tone row. So again, that is sha, sa, ah, ya. And now, unsurprisingly, we have a high tone row. Ra, la, sha, sa. But let's get into it slowly. Ra, ra. This is usually written as RA, and there's 2 ways to pronounce this. In Central Tibetan, this is pronounced ja, which is almost like the S in the word pleasure or the J in French. For example, je suis Amalia, je, ja, ja. So this isn't ra like English. No, ja, ja. That's used in Central Tibet. In Eastern Tibet, they use a tapped or a rolled R. So ra or ra, like the ere or erre in Spanish. Ra, ra. Whether you use ra or ja, it's completely up to you and the community that you speak with. Both are correct. This next letter is la, la. Easy, English L. This next letter is sha, sha. This is almost identical to an English SH. Sha, sha, much closer to the front of the mouth than sha, sha. And then finally, sa, sa. This is like an English S. And now our final row is ha and ah, or sort of ha and ah. They're kind of like middle tone. They're not really high or low. This first one, ha, just like an English H. And ah, this is like an English ah. This is the click start ah, 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 just like the letter A in English. Now, you might be thinking, wait a second, since when is ah a consonant? Well, when you learn how the vowels work, which will be in the next video, you're going to understand this. But essentially, this functions as a blank slate, which is kind of nice, except it's a hard start blank slate. So these last two letters are ha and ah. So now let's review the whole alphabet from the chart. First of all, I want to note something. You're going to see English letters under the letters here in this chart. This is a system called the Wiley system, and it's very good for transcribing letters and spellings. It's not good for pronunciation, but this chart was just really pretty. So please ignore the English here. But now let's go through this chart. Ka, 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 nga, cha, 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 nya, ta, 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 na, pa, 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 ma, za, ca, za, wa, sha, sa, a, ya, ra, la, sha, sa, ha, a. There you go. Those are the 30 letters of the Tibetan alphabet. And please stick around. In the next video, we are going to do the four vowels and how you use them, how they combine. And of course, there are going to be lots of additional videos on my Patreon, including alphabet songs and fun mnemonics for how to remember your letters. I hope this has been really helpful for you, and I can't wait to see you next time. Tujite, thank you.